Uncommon Place. This podcast is a variety podcast that houses numerous series to cover mental health, empowerment, podcast framework, and various intimate theories to get to know the hosts, along with occasional movies reviews and dives in pop culture with our event podcast episode. The Uncommon Place digs into bringing guests on that stories don't fit the mold and are very different. WV stands for the great state of West Virginia, and every quarter we cover something in West Virginia. Stacey and myself, JR, are your hosts, so please come along for this venture to our Uncommon Place.
Howdy, everybody. It's me, JR. Welcome back to the show. And today we're going to talk about something that's crazy that just came out of nowhere and now it's everywhere. We're going to talk about the rise of Tubi. Free streaming, thousands of titles, and somehow it's become one of the most important players in the entertainment world right now. And honestly, a few years ago, who would have predicted this? Knowing that this thing had semi good shows and some shows that were just not worth a damn. So how did Tubi go from just being the random free app to something people are actually choosing over paid services? Let me break it down. All right, here we go. Now, Tubi launched back in 2014, and for a long time it just existed. No huge buzz, no massive marketing push. It wasn't competing head to head with giants like Netflix or 2020. Then, somewhere around 2020, everything changed. Tubi was acquired by Fox Corporation for around $444 million. And at that time, people kind of shrugged and like, why Fox? Fox does like to make some crazy ass decisions. But Fox saw something big. Not another subscription service, but a free one powered by ads. And that's the one thing in business that moves people in a different direction. Um, Everybody pays not to have ads, but in this case, they were like, oh, nope, we're going to keep the ads. So, and they banked on one thing that was amazing, that people would get tired of paying for everything. And they were right. And with people not wanting to pay for everything, because with the way subscription services have gone now, those services, when you put them together, it's a lot of money. We're back up to paying cable's prices. So here goes subscription fatigue for you, just in a nutshell. If you want everything, you're paying for Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Max, and then, after a while, that stuff adds up. But here's Tubi. It's all free. Just watch it. A few ads. People are like, yeah, I can deal with that. And that's where the moment Tubi kind of sparked. And here's the thing that you get when you get Tubi. You get a large library. And it's not like other platforms. You're not getting the polished, trending, top 10 content. You're getting forgotten movies from the early 2000s, straight to DVD chaos, cult classics, reality TV madness, and deep cut horror. And it feels like an algorithm, um, feels less like an algorithm and more like digging through a bin at a video store. And you know what? That somehow works because you're discovering things. And yes, you are losing items off of here and you're gaining items, but you're getting things that you don't get in other places. So, for instance, let's talk about horror fans. Horror fans over on Tubi and anime fans shine. They can find everything they want from low budget, indie, experimental, weird, and wild movies. And, it's a good place also for filmmakers because it's a testing ground from them and a playground for their fans because they get to see stuff. And you can just sit on Tubi and just keep going. Now, something else that happened this year was the inclusion of the cartoon catalog from Warner Brothers, the Tasmanian Devil, Looney Tunes, and all that stuff. Everything from our childhood got picked up on Tubi. And if you're a person like me, watching those videos and having all that stuff come out, it has been amazing because I'm able to actually go in, watch something that I knew as a kid, relive some parts, and obviously being an adult is giving me more periods of awake period now where to a point I found out that, Tasmanian Devil to an extent is autistic. And it's really, really wild if you pay attention to it. As adults, I'm not saying that as a joke, but you look at it and you're like, whoa, Taz is really autistic. And then it's just like, also there's the original content. The original content that comes on Tubi is lackluster sometimes, and sometimes it's highly entertaining. But you're getting this all free ad supported entertainment. It's not perfect, but it's watchable. And it's giving you more titles and more things that you're not having to pay for. I mean, we have the Super Bowl. We've had Super Bowl on here. We've had some football played on here this year. Tubi has really moved into a place of its own. So with that being said, that's all I really want to talk about Tubi, not go into a deep dive about it. But I do want to tell you that you may want to pay attention to Tubi because it is out there and it's getting better. So on that note, I'm JR and I'm out of here.
Please follow WV Uncommonplace on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, TikTok, where we have some great content, Facebook, LinkedIn. Hit up the merch store at oncommonplace.square.site. Join the email list from the website, and rate, subscribe, and give feedback from your favorite podcatcher. And lastly, thanks for listening, and tune into the next episode.
Boom, 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 boom.